In this film, we want to take a look at what the government might do next in terms of employment costs, and also look at the Taylor Review, which is currently looking into whether working has become too flexible in favour of the employer and not flexible enough in favour of the employee. First though, it's really important to remember that people working in this sector really value working in their local shop. We spoke to Katie Cross from the ACS to find out more.
Well, the convenience sector is a really good place to work because it only takes on average 13 minutes to get there and the cost is really low, which means that for people with other commitments, they can move around their schedules to fit in line with their working. For over 90% of people working in the sector, this is their only job. And for almost half, they are either the hire or the only income earner in their household. Job security is rated as one of the most important aspects of working in the sector. And over 3/5 think that they will still be working with their current employer in 5 years' time, either in a similar role or a more developed role. This shows that the sector is not just good for stable employment, but also offers opportunities for progression.
The responsibility for recommending future wage rates lies with the Low Pay Commission. We caught up with Claire Chapman, Low Pay Commissioner, and Stuart Adkin from Blakemore Retail to get an insight into the process as they consult with businesses about future wage rates.
What we do during the course of the year is we take evidence to understand what are the factors that will influence rates, and then we make a recommendation in October. We get a different remit each year. Some of the elements of that remit are the same, such as making recommendations on rates, and others, like this year, there's a particular issue that government wants us to look at, and this year, as you know, one of the things that we're looking at is commenting on the Taylor Review and what might be done with regard to offsetting what Taylor referred to as one-sided flexibility. During the course of the year, the commissioners go across the UK to really take first-hand evidence and understand what are both the impacts of the decisions that government have made with regard to current rates, but also to do a look forward at the recommendation for the rates in October. And it makes a huge difference to us getting high quality input at that stage.
Due to the living wage and the national minimum wage, there's been a significant increase in our costs. We employ a huge amount of staff within our stores, and therefore it's by far our biggest cost. We've had to look at how we can get more efficient. Our trading and buying teams have had to look at if they can buy better. And we've also had to look at services that we have. We're talking about relatively small stores, each individual store open long hours. So you reach a point where you can't reduce staffing anymore, the efficiencies are harder to come by. But like every other company, we're out there, we're looking at our competitors, what they do, and we're going to continue to grow our profits through more food service, trying to sell higher margin products.
So what does the future hold? We spoke to Connor Darcy at the Resolution Foundation think tank to find out what policies might be around the corner.
So it's been one of the biggest changes at the lower end of the labour market for a long time. It's been a really big increase in the minimum wage over quite a short period of time. And it's meant that, a whole range of firms have taken a wide range of approaches. So some have, looked to automation to see if they could bring in more technology. Some have moved towards training to try and boost the skills of their staff to make them more expensive. We haven't seen much in terms of change of employment. That's always the concern, that employers will just cut back on the hours or the number of staff that they employ. But I think it is still early days, and we're seeing other things like differentials between the lowest paid staff and those on the next rung up also starting to be narrowed. So it's still very much in play, but there's a whole range of responses going on. Since the recession, what we've seen is we saw the rise of things like 0 hours contracts and other more flexible terms in general. Often they can work really well for people, but I think there definitely does exist some contracts where there is one-sided flexibility and the balance of power is tipped too much in favour of the employer. I think a lot of the ideas in the Taylor Review are sensible, and the government's consultations seem to be in the right area. It'd be interesting to see what the Low Pay Commission says on it.
Clearly there are some big challenges for our sector when it comes to employment, but retailers are adapting. Let's get some views from the panel about what they think the future of employment might look like.